Pretty sure that we're the only ones left in this country that actually manufacture earmarking pliers by hand from start to finish, right?
4 generations, and my young bloke, he's having a bit of a crack at it at the moment too, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get the 5th generation out of it.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Paul Hummelstead. I make earmarking pliers.
I'm Tom Hummelstead. I'm Paul's elder brother. 5 years older than him. Yeah, probably 5 years less wise than him. And yeah, so I'm an earmarker maker too.
Well, I've been doing it now for nearly 40 years, and we've moved up the north coast here, 95. So that's 30 years now.
Well, an earmarker is just it takes a piece of the ear out, and it's made in different shapes so you can identify your stock.
It leaves a mark in the ear, you can see daylight through. It's good because, like say, you walk into a paddock with all your cattle, the first thing they do is put up their ears and look at you, and you go, there's my cow. You know, you can see the mark in the ear.
You know, you can have an ear tag in, and that's okay, but it's just another form of insurance too. So once you bang it in, it's in for life, and it'll grow out with the cow. So you mark them as calves,
and they get bigger and bigger,
and it gets just disproportional. Putting what we call cut on them is really important. So they, rather than come down flat on the ear like that, they've got to come down with slice. So
scissor action.
Yeah. So, and then you got to be able to cut like newspaper, just a sheet of newspaper. And once that's done, you've got to put it in the fire and harden it. And then once that's done, you refit it again, so it's cut and paper again. Then you polish it, spring it, out the door.
Post it off to somewhere in the country. And occasionally America and...
Yeah, sent stuff to America and England, South Africa. Sent some pliers to South Africa. And
not very often though, like once in a blue moon.
No. These are ones I've got to fix up. And they come from all over the country. They've all been fitted. We've got the spring in there. You can almost hear it cutting. You know, you can hear that scissor noise. And we just get a bit of paper just to test it. And that's it. It's Dad, Harry, he used to make them. And then his father, Henry, he made them. And then his father, Ivan, he made them. And yeah, so we've been going 4 generations now, so...
Yeah, Ivan started it. Well, he came out here from Norway, and he's a bit of a mystery man, but we did find out that he sort of left Norway because he was a bit of a bad boy and was interested in stealing everyone's pigeons. So even when he got locked up, he realised that the police had their own pigeons, and he turned back up at the police station and stole their pigeons. So he's an interesting chap, old Ivan. And he died in, well, at the end of the First World War.
Yeah, 1918.
He died, and we get his earmarkers in here for the first time to repair, and he's been dead 100 years. I think one of the funniest cases I saw, Tom made a pair and he repaired a pair. And the guy said, I want a new pair the same as the old pair. So when he repaired that old pair and he sent the new pair back together, the guy rang up and he said, which one's the new one? And he was dead serious. Because that's like driving a T-model Ford around now that hasn't broken down once.
So these have got to be about 120, maybe 130 years old. And yeah, they're for a company in Brisbane. So I'll get them back to brand new. There's a combination mark. That'll take a quarter cut, and that's a note. So that's for sheep. And that's him, old Ivan Ragenwald Hummelstead, ERH. To know that the last person to put that rivet in there was my great-grandfather, and that's 120 years ago, and I'll be knocking that rivet out probably this afternoon so I can repair these. And then just putting it all back together again, you do get a feeling of sort of connection because he put them together all those years ago. So yeah, it's a good thing. If it's done quickly and cleanly, I've marked calves, and we used to brand, we don't brand anymore, but we used to, and they knacker them, and then you brand them, and you earmark them. Now that sounds like a lot of pain for one hit for a calf, you know, but within 5 minutes, they're running about no worries at all.
I see youngsters that are my daughter's friends bring to the house and whatever, and you know they go to doof parties and all this sort of thing, and they got holes in their ears bigger than some of the ear markers we make, and rings through their nose and all the rest of it. And I don't know if you want to get concerned about hurting animals or whatever. Have a look there.
Actually, in 1989, Countrywide, the ABC show Countrywide, they did a, Paul and Dad did a show with them, and that was sort of a little expose of what we did. Yeah, Paul had a copy on VHS or something.
I still do have a copy on VHS.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, this is the beginning.
Watching intently is 18-year-old Paul Hummelstad.
Look at the mullet.
An order that's come in today's mail from the Pastures Protection Board of Dubbo. Now, I've got the book here.
Oh, there's the old book.
So we'll just look up number 54, make sure we got the right one.
Harry's official book of registered earmarks, published in 1916, contains 19,348 different designs. And Harry has to be able to make every one of them.
Look at the weeds growing through the roof.
Oh, God.
Has to be a maximum of 3/4, so we'll make it about 5/8.
The asbestos roof, mind you.
Still mark it up all the same way.
Yeah, that's exactly how we do it now.
It's not just father and son, but a master and his apprentice.
Spot welding, no mask.
Oh, I came back from a couple of years overseas, and we were having the recession we had to have, and I just went to work with Dad and Paul, and
because we had enough work.
Yeah, and I just learnt the trade.
And so then when Bill came out of school in year 12, he came and joined us too. And he makes the brands. He makes beautiful brands. A couple here.
Yeah, so he just custom designs them for them, and
a farmer's hat.
That's a hot brand. That one. That's a stainless steel hot brand.
Yeah, but they go in liquid nitrogen.
It's a freeze brand, and when it goes on, it stays on forever.
When you make a freeze brand, you've got to make a pattern. So the pattern's made, it goes to the foundry casts the brand, then the brand comes back, and then you recreate the whole brand basically from the casting. Now, my father had a real problem with J's. I mean, he'd write them back to front sometimes, and I was an apprentice, I just started, and I remember the look on Dad's face. He went ghostly white while he was talking on the phone, and anyway, he got off the phone, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I've just made a brand for one of Kerry Packer's polo horses, and the J's back to front, and they've branded the bastard," he said. I said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "Well, the bloke who bought it hasn't told Kerry. Kerry looked at it and didn't even notice. So we're leaving it at that."
Yeah, so Dad got a phone call from the Hellfire Club in King's Cross.
Oh.
And
I remember this.
He said, it was someone with a really deep voice. He said, they rang up and they wanted a brand, and he got talking to them about it, what they wanted, and it was just the initials of the Hellfire Club, HFC. And anyway, he said, "Yeah, we can do that for you." And he goes, "So what are you branding?" He said, "You're branding cattle, or you're branding horses, or what?" And he goes, "We're branding humans." My father he was in shock, and he said, "Look, I can't help you."
He sent him to his mate.
You reckon that's going to be the way?
It's good to be able to make something from scratch, and you know that the person who's going to get it is going to have it for all their lifetime and for all their kids' lifetime. It'll become a family heirloom. It becomes, part of their identity. And to make something like that, and I put a stamp inside the handles. I put the date, I put the Hummelstad stamp, and I put a little T there for Tom, because I'm a little bit ostentatious there.
In an age of computerisation and mass production, it's heartening to see that some things still require the human touch.
I like it to be done properly. Sometimes I'll say, "Oh, bugger, I'm a bit tired, that's good enough," and I'll put it down. I'll always come back to it if it's the next day, but I could send a job out that I didn't think was, spot on.
And you won't let me either.
No, my old man wouldn't let me either. No way he wouldn't.
Geez, I still get a bit emotional when I see the end of that.
Yeah.
Oh, it just brings back so many memories. Fond ones of my father. But, yeah, just that era, you know. It was a different time. It really was. And just as they say, master and his apprentice, it was wonderful working with him. Yeah, it was. I miss it. And he was a great tradesman too. He was able to make pliers the old way before bandsaws and electricity and welding. I mean, they just bashed everything together when it was red hot, simple as that. And they used mandrels and they used, you know...
Little chisels.
Little saws.
Drills and God knows
hand
what.
drills, you know. It was incredible.
Yeah.
To make an ear marker back then, you'd take you 2 days to make one. You know? Sometimes we get people ring up and, you know, and they go, well, I need it yesterday or whatever, and they think you just walk up to a machine, hit a button and out it comes.
Yeah, it pops. But, it's... Once you tell them, like even with the repairs, they say, oh, well, you know, they just want to get a repair done. And I say, yeah, well, there's a little bit involved in that too.
But the funny thing is, with the old pliers, the really old ones, the metal is just like a different ilk. It's like once you soften it, once you put it in the forge,
Very malleable.
get it out, let it cool. It's like, well, I won't say like Play-Doh, but it's easier to work than like the steel we get now is pretty good steel, but you know.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's of course it's, you know, it's dug up here, sent to China, and then we get it back, you know. So in the old days of BHP and everything, you know, it was made here. At the moment, I'm pretty sure that we're the only ones left in this country that actually manufacture earmarking pliers by hand from start to finish, right? And it's a sad fact, really. It's just the way the fabrication seems to be going in this country. But just, I feel very proud of the fact that we can still do that.
Yeah, well, it's 4 generations, and my young bloke, he's having a bit of a crack at it at the moment too, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get the 5th generation out of it.
Fine tradition that looks all set to continue.